Hello, beautiful people. Jonathan here from Behold Retreats. One of the questions that we receive quite a bit is whether or not an ayahuasca retreat is right for a given individual. And so I've pulled together some of my thoughts here. Hope these are useful to you in helping you decide whether or not a journey is correct for you. Now, this video is for you if you've been considering an ayahuasca retreat for a while. Perhaps you've just been researching the subject for a while and can't quite still make up your mind. And perhaps because it feels like a big commitment, it feels like a big step. And so you're looking for some additional ways to think about this, to make up your mind. Now, we're going to cover 4 things in this video. The number one, we're going to talk about the primary concerns that people have in relation to making this decision, talk a little bit about each of those. Number 2, things that you might benefit from knowing in relation to your decision. Number 3, a few exercises and recommendations that you might find helpful in relation to how you want to go about making this decision and ultimately making this decision one way or the other. And then finally, lastly, if you are a yes, a few tips in relation to your preparation. Now, primary concerns that people have is, number one, safety, right? So at a minimum, whatever sort of retreat that you're attending, there should be a sort of discovery call, right, to ensure that you're a fit for what they're offering and they're able to meet your needs, ultimately. So making sure that there's actually a human connection that's going on and that, they're going to be able to provide the quality of care and of service that you're looking for. Second to that is, of course, psychological and medical screening to ensure that you have no contraindications, which would preclude you from attending such a retreat. So again, just kind of the bare minimums in relation to what you should be looking for from a safety perspective. Second to that, quality, right? So a lot of people are like, okay, what does good look like? It's a little bit hard to make a quality decision in relation to this because you may have noticed that if you look online, everything's being rated as 5 stars. So again, the recommendation here is you really do your homework so that you can find a place that really resonates with you, and quality does vary. It really varies in this space. So again, just take the time and the energy to connect with people who are going to be able to take great care of you. The third is this going to change me too much, right? You've heard these transformational stories of people having big shifts in perception, the way they see themselves, the way they see the world, the relationship between the two. This is one that is difficult to answer on an objective basis. I think we stay who we are. There continues to be improvements to who we are, our level of self-understanding. But then, things that are quite negative can also come to the surface, and that can be challenging as well. So that's something to take into consideration. People also have some concerns around preparation, right? The diet in particular, and whether or not they're going to be able to stick to that. Now these days, it's so much easier to, order the types of food that we need in order to fulfill the requirements, and perhaps even ordering meals directly to home. All of those sorts of things are so much easier than they used to be. But some people really struggle with that regardless. So again, something for you to consider in terms of understanding the dietary requirements before you actually pull the trigger. And then the final piece here that people are obviously concerned about is the challenging experiences, right? So, what's going to happen? What am I going to see? What am I going to feel? Painful emotions, painful memories, perhaps, that can come to the surface. And so, again, it's worth researching and understanding the different types of more challenging experiences that can take place ahead of actually committing to a retreat. And then the last piece in relation to that is purging. Now, if purging has benefits, right? It clears out the gut, as it were. There's relationship between the brain and the gut, the microbiome, and it really does a lot of good things to kind of reset our system on many levels when we're talking about ayahuasca. For those where purging is a really big issue, you may also consider 5-MeO-DMT, which is a medicine that is smoked, and as a result doesn't have quite the same physical requirements from a purging perspective. Purging is still possible with 5-MeO-DMT, but far less common. Now, number 2, a couple of things that I think are important in relation to your decision. I believe that committing to a retreat, whether it's your first one or your 30th one is one of the most important decisions of your life. And I continue to believe that, these are such powerful, profound experiences. And so it's important that we take them very seriously and recognize, the commitment that we're making, not just to ourselves, but also to the work around the retreat, not just the retreat itself. I mentioned already safety and quality. Again, spend the time and the energy to educate yourself so that you can be sure that you're making a really quality decision here. It's worth the time. It's worth the energy. If there's a kind of constraint between attending something that you're super excited about and something that you can't afford right now, perhaps save up a little bit and go to a place that you can just really have confidence in. Number 3, as I mentioned before, it's worth doing your research, but ultimately it's important that you rely upon your inner guidance, right? Your inner guidance, your intuition is going to really serve you here. And ultimately you and you alone can make this decision. So, different people make decisions in different ways, right? Some people like to really understand the science and what's the process look like and all of the facts and the analytics about the different ways that plant medicine might be able to help you. That's how they make their decisions. Other people just need to hear really powerful, transformative stories from others, right? So long as they've heard enough of those stories, then they're excited about doing this work. Other people are very results oriented, and so they just want to know whether or not it's going to have a chance of helping them fix the things that they'd like to work on. And if they believe that it can and it will, then they're committed to doing this work. And then other people just really need to be heard, right? So they like to discuss this subject with others to really, get some feedback and some deeper understanding through conversation. And again, there's no right and wrong here. It's just make sure that whatever way you're making your decision, that you're ultimately relying upon your own kind of felt intuition. And then finally, know that whatever decision you're going to make is going to be the right one. We've had clients of ours that, in the lead up to the retreat, they're fully committed, all of those things. And then some anxiety comes to the surface and they feel like now is not the right time or they need to pull out. And what I always say to clients in those moments is like, look, whether you move forward now, you move forward later, or ultimately you decide this work is not right for you, even though you've already made that commitment to yourself, the decisions that you make along this journey are the right ones because they're coming from a different place, right? They're not necessarily coming from a rational place. And often, it's helpful to talk through some of the anxiety and concerns that come up in the lead up to the retreat, because certainly I feel nerves before each and every one. And that's part of being human and part of any real adventure. Now, the third thing I'd like to talk about is a few exercises and perhaps recommendations that might be useful to you. I think the first is not even related to plant medicine, right? But getting really clear on your future self. So who is this person that you're aspiring to be? Because plant medicine is just a tool. It's not the path. It's a tool that we can use to accelerate our self-understanding and our spiritual development and our creativity and our growth and all of those sorts of good things. But ultimately, the medicine responds to intentionality. So first and foremost, think about this future version of yourself and really get clear on who that person is. Now, second to that, then you can begin to think about, okay, well then, can a medicine like ayahuasca or can a medicine like 5-MeO DMT, do I think that can help me become the person that I'm trying to become, right? So whether it's healing some things from your past, right, in terms of trauma, emotions, limiting beliefs, all of these sorts of things. Number two, maybe it's more around clarity of purpose, creativity, personal growth, right? Expanding into the next version of yourself. Or perhaps it's more spiritual, right? Where you're just trying to develop your own understanding of reality, the inner world and the outer world, and the relationship between the two. It's also worth spending the time and energy to understand the various benefits to mind, body, heart, and spirit. And I'm going to do a separate video on this in the period ahead, just to begin to illuminate a little bit more about my own journey and the benefits that have been felt to the various aspects of my being. And again, some of these are going to be more resonant with you and more specific to the sorts of improvements that you're looking to introduce to your life. Others may not be so important to you. So again, it's worth spending the time and the energy. And then finally, strength of intentionality, right? So by going through this this process of really understanding who you want to be and how is it specifically that you believe plant medicine can assist you along that development, then you're going to develop a much stronger sense of intentionality in relation to the retreat. And that's going to really help you if you encounter more challenging times while you're on retreat, to really anchor back to that intentionality, to help yourself navigate the inner world when sometimes things can get a little dark. Now, how do you want to decide? And I spoke about already the different ways in which people make decisions. So there's no right or wrong here. Different people just make decisions in different ways. And so a few of the things that have always helped me is meditating, right? So just as part of the decision-making process, sitting in meditation for 20 or 30 minutes and just seeing what comes to the surface in relation to making that decision. Often journaling, if you do it just before bed, just after you wake up, or perhaps even just after you've completed a meditation. And again, just kind of writing down what comes to the surface, and then feeling in, right? Just kind of feeling into your own felt sense of something, and sitting with the thought of attending a retreat and seeing what sort of things come to the surface. And again, I'd just like to emphasize there's no right and wrong in relation to this. Trust yourself through the decision-making process. The last piece is, if you are a yes, a few tips that I'd recommend in terms of preparation. Do your best to release expectations, right? Sometimes we go in with one expectation and we have a very different type of experience. Even people who have done this work for years, they come in with a very strong intention in one direction and the medicine takes them in another. So it's good to have a strength of intention, but also to release too much in the way of expectations, so that you're not too disappointed if what you expected doesn't come through. Second is getting support around the retreat, especially for first timers. Really highly recommend that you work with a coach or a therapist. Often we have a little, if we're working on a specific problem, often the thing that's stopping us in achieving what we want in life or being who we want to be in life isn't the thing that we think it is. So you might, for example, say, oh, well, I've got this anxiety problem. Well, your anxiety is a symptom of some other things that are happening neurologically, physiologically, that, perhaps childhood trauma. There's many other things. So the problem that shows itself isn't necessarily the problem that you need to be working on. And so working with a really good coach, a really good therapist, is going to help you really understand the core of the issue, the genesis and the source of the issue, so that you're able to set the right intentionality for the retreat, do the right mental and emotional work in preparation, and ultimately get the outcome and get the benefit that you're looking for. Again, nothing can be promised there, but it really does move things along when you're working with the right guidance and you come with the right tools. In terms of preparation for retreat, I always encourage people to consider this process energetically, right? So you're making a real commitment to yourself and to consciousness as a whole in a broader sense. And so, some daily exercise, meditating, eating well as part of the dieta, but like doing that with as much kind of felt sense of commitment to the experience as can be done, because ultimately, like all things in life, right? We get out what we put in. And so when we're really committing to this work, then it's amazing the transformations that can take place, even over the course of just a single retreat. Now, a few other pieces or next steps that you might like to check out. Some of these I've already released. Some are still coming. Number one, how to know if you're ready. So there's an aspect of timing that I think is important, and I'll talk about that in an upcoming video. Number two, I've spoken about the benefits that are possible through this work and through the elevation of consciousness to mind, body, heart, and spirit. Safety, really going to go much deeper on safety, and in particular the energetic aspects, right? Because I think the mental, emotional, and physical aspects of safety are pretty well understood. The energetic, spiritual aspects, much less so. So I'm planning to go much deeper on that in the period ahead. Number four, how to spot a quality experience. We've already got a bunch of stuff here on the website for you to look at in terms of how to choose a high quality retreat. And then finally, if you're feeling the call and you're ready for a transformational journey, check out our upcoming retreats. We're hosting them in a couple different countries now, and we'd love to welcome you. So hopefully that was helpful to you, and wishing you safe, beautiful, and elevating journeys. Aloha.